You can't hear my TV, right?
Nope.
Cool. What's up, YouTube? Brevity
YouTube.
Sports in the
We,
house. What's
we
up,
are
everybody?
streaming at you live,
Live,
live.
live, 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 live. We are live.
We are live down from
we
Southern
we're so
California.
old. I think
Brevity
it's getting more
Sports.
apparent that we're like getting older, like mentally at least. Like our
Yeah.
jokes.
I, I, the last couple of weeks I've been doing this thing. So Haley and I both have Hondas. So she has a CRV. I have a Civic. But regardless, it's the key looks alike because like the year range that they make the key look alike, but we have
Right.
different stuff on our keychains.
Okay.
And I did it again tonight. I take her key and I
Oh boy.
put it into my car and I'm like, what? Why isn't it starting? What is going on? And I keep doing it. And then tonight I was just like, I'm just getting old. Like that is what it is.
That's
like
it.
I have no other explanation
Yeah.
except that's
Yep.
it. So
Yep.
start call it old man Z. Old
Old
Z
man
over here.
Z.
Not even big Z.
Old man Z.
It's just old man Z. Jeez.
There you go, YouTube. There's your exclusive for the night.
There it
Big
is.
Z.
Old man Z.
You can only hear here the big old man Z. Oh, that's pretty. You know what, dude? I will say I'd be ashamed to share this on the podcast. For some reason, YouTube feels slightly better at the moment.
Yeah. Sure.
So our friends are going to Montana's. It's like this line dancing place
Nice.
in like San Bernardino, not San Bernardino, not at all there, in Glendora, and the opposite of San Bernardino, like the other direction entirely. Old, whatever, Glendora, and like DL texted me about it, like, do you want to go? And I was like, not even a little bit. Like, I have no desire to go overspend on alcoholic beverages to go line dancing when I don't even really want to line dance, nor do I want to like spend that money just to spend that money.
Right.
And like, she's like, that's good. We're for sure on the same page. So more like we're not going. And the best part is like a couple of years, like we both thought like 5-6 years ago, like we make it happen. Like, yeah, let's get there. Let's do it. Like, oh, this will be so fun. Like, blah, blah. Like, yeah, not only do we go, we probably go like at 10 o'clock.
Right.
Like we go like 9 o'clock when it's like starting to turn up. Mm-hmm. And it was like, dude, no part of me wants to do that. Like, nope. I have a pool. I have a jacuzzi. Like
you could line dance at your house.
Listen, you got to present something. I'm the age where you have to present something that like really I want to do to take me away from my house. Right.
You got to sell it to you. Yeah.
Right.
Like it has to be. It still has to be a little cozy to you, like reminds you of home a little bit. Like it can't just be like something that's just out of the norm and just so I don't know, just foreign to you.
It has to be. See, there's two speeds. That's what we found.
Okay.
Is either like we're sitting and like going to like a local bar, like a local pub, or like a local brewery. Like I'm down for that, or we're at home, or we're going to like wine country, or we're going like on a 3-day trip to like San Diego, just turning back the clock, like mentally preparing, liquid IVs, like the whole 9 yards. Like I'm down for, like we're down for that, but like just like one night of just like overspending, doing something I don't want to do. Like no, like I don't want to do that.
Being a responsible adult. Like sounds like you got a budget. A good budget in place.
Right. Like, as a trip like that, we could like we're planning. We're like, hey, we're gonna go tropical Thou. Like, let's figure this out. Like, let's save up.
Let's figure
when are we gonna do it? Versus like, let's just go to this
spending like $250 for 3 beers and an Uber and I feel you, man.
Some old lady just hitting on me for no reason. Just like that doesn't sound exciting.
It just doesn't sound great. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you 100%.
So there you go, YouTube. There's your exclusive. We're going to go and start the podcast now.
We're old.
Let's do it. Let's get it going.
Boom, 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 boom. Let's see here.
Welcome back, everybody. It is another episode here at Brevity Sports. I'm Fredo, joined as always by my co-host, Big Z. Say hi to the people, Big Z.
What is up, people? Welcome back to the best podcast on the market. I'm not biased. I just speak the facts. It is the best podcast. I love you guys. Fredo loves you guys. Hope you guys had a good week. It's been a roller coaster week. It's been good though, Like it's Thursday night. It's Friday Junior. One more day of the work week, and we're on to the weekend. Better and bigger and better things, as they say.
If Tom Brady can call out the Kansas City Chiefs for half of their fans being 11-year-old Swifties, then we can certainly call out like the biggest sports podcast in the world, which I listen to. I love New Heights for all the Swifties that are now their fans. So, hey, you're true blue. If you're here, it's for me and Big Z. It's not for Taylor Swift. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We did it.
Yeah. So, that's right.
How was your weekend, Big Z? Talk to me.
It was good, man. For Christmas, I got Haley an electric bike. And so it's finally been warm enough where we gotta get it out of the box, right? And now Oliver's to a point where he's loving his scooter. Every day he's asking, I want to ride the scooter. The dude is shredding, dude, like going down hills by himself, like braking. I'm like, this guy is a natural. Like everything else he does, he's natural. And like, just add this to the list. Again, not biased, people, despite my kids. Awesome. And so I built the bike, did the brakes, did all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so that was fun. That was really cool. So this weekend we're gonna go get bike seat, which is great for Oliver, so he can ride on the back of that as well. Like because it's an electric bike, so she kind of like leaves him in the dust naturally, just because it's an electric bike. So you got to go. Right. And he's just, he's shredding, but not as quick right now because he can't keep up with the bike. But it was good. Also, my favorite holiday was last weekend. May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day. So we made some blue milk. It was interesting. So we went to Lazy Acres, and have you ever heard of spirulina?
No, I haven't.
It's this, it's in the frozen section. It's blue. But it's like this, I guess you could call it frozen fruit, but it's found like it's moss, like on the back side of rocks, like underneath the sea, I guess.
What?
Like that's what it's made from. And so we were like getting Oliver, like we're all wearing our Star Wars stuff. Like he's obsessed with Darth Vader all of a sudden. Like he loves the Imperial March, like the song. And so we got some spirulina. You put some cream in it, some spirulina, like blend it all up, had some blue milk. It was awesome, so he's getting into Star Wars, which is great because like that's one of my dreams. Like since I was a kid, I said, when I'm a dad, I'm gonna show this to my kids, and I cannot wait. So it's slowly beginning. Like he hasn't watched like any movies yet because he's only 2, but he knows who Darth Vader is. And then the cutest thing, like so I have a shirt, it's Darth Vader, and then stormtroopers like on the side of him. He calls them rain troopers, storm troopers. He calls them rain troopers. I'm like, man, that is so cute. Like you're the best human ever, man. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was good, man. How was your weekend?
First of all, let me just say, like, it also makes sense he's not going to keep up with a Hall of Famer. So your wife's a legend. Not even I can. Your wife's a legend, dude. She's the Hall of Fame. So let's start right there.
Yep.
Dude, it was good. Baseball, and more baseball as usual. That is my life right now.
Always.
We had a blast though. We had a great weekend. I like looking back, I'm like, man, what did we even do? Like that's the age I am. I'm the age where what did I do 3 days ago? Like I have no concept of days or time. Actually, it was a good weekend. We actually dropped off the kids. We are super fortunate and lucky and blessed to have grandparents that are like super involved. Like I'm sure I mentioned on the podcast before, but like our grandparents would like fight over time with the kids. Like once upon a time, a few years ago when we first had the kids, like we needed like a ton of help, like so much help because they were babies, obviously. Danielle was working at a preschool part-time. I was working full-time, traveling for work, gone like, I've told you before, like 10 to 15 business days at a time. Like, so, if I was on the right trip, I'd be gone for 2 weeks,
right. Yeah.
And so we got so much up. So they got so used and so spoiled to like seeing the boys, like the amount of time they got to spend with the boys.
Yeah.
But now as
Yeah.
like I've started my own pool business, Danielle's a teacher, like our schedule lines up perfectly with the boys. And we're not like the people that just like to drop them off. You know, like we
Exactly.
want
Yeah.
our kids with, like I enjoy the boys. Today we're playing wiffle ball. Like, we're just
Yeah.
having a
Yeah.
blast. And, you know, when I'm not playing wiffle ball with them, I'm coaching them in baseball. Like we're always together, hanging out, having fun. And so, you know, just the reality of, you know, our grandparents were like, hey, can we get some time with them, please? So Saturday, my parents were like, look, you canceled on us like 3 times. Can we please have them overnight? And I was like, yes. And the worst part was there was actually a majors team that wanted Jaden to play with them because they're short a player. Like, hey, will Jaden play with us? Because, you know, Jaden's just a good attitude. He gets along with everybody.
Yeah.
He is not a natural. So he is the opposite of Oliver.
He's
Jaden
a
is
hard
pure.
worker.
He's pure hard
Worker.
work, dude. If Jaden
Yeah.
got on a scooter, he would fall over, but he would keep trying until he got it. But regardless, um, so you know, I had to tell him no. I was like, no, like I've already bailed on my parents multiple times, like with the kids. So
Yeah. Oh,
Danielle
there
and I
you go.
actually got a
Yeah.
date night. We went to like one of those
Nice.
hibachi places where they cook in front of you.
Oh, heck
Super
yeah.
chill. Just had a great night. Next day had brunch, endless mimosas, the whole 9 yards.
Ooh.
So just like, yeah, it was really
And so,
nice.
so the baby went over there too.
Yeah, the baby went too. So
Oh,
that was
wow.
like the
Okay.
first
So
overnight.
that's your first
Yeah,
overnight. Oh, okay.
overnight thing for the baby.
Nice,
She's
man.
already, believe it or not, dude, she's already like stinking 6 months.
6 months. Yeah.
I mean, she was born in
That's
November, so me and you are really lying because technically it's 7, but like we're telling ourselves she's 6 months old because we don't want it to move that quickly. She was born in November, so you know it's
no,
May.
She's 6 months.
Is it November, December,
Yeah, because
January, February, March,
Oliver's December, and
April,
that's 5 months. Like, yeah, five months is
May?
May. Yeah, it's 6 months.
So you're like, oh, so you're not counting December. You're just you go January, February. That makes
Well,
sense.
well,
Okay,
if you go December
right. Okay,
to the
got
day,
it.
like, and then yeah, if you count, so I am counting that. So
See,
you're
November,
November to
December
December,
12th is
December to
one,
January,
two,
January to February, February to
three.
March, March to April, April to May.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no, you're right. So
it is
we're
six
doing
months.
6 months,
Yeah.
but she's a great baby, dude. Like she is
Oh yeah.
the chillest baby we've ever had. Like I love my sons, but she is so chill. Like her, and what's weird about her, and I don't know if this is like a girl versus a guy thing. Like I don't know, somebody out there is getting super mad that I'm like just like gender, but like it's okay. Just stay with us. um, she like knows what she wants. Like she knows. Like she is so different than my sons. Like it's undeniable. Like my boys were just like, I'm crying because I feel like pain. And they like you would try to solve it. And it's like, what do you need from me right now? She will cry
Yeah.
and want you to like look at her. And then you look at her and she's good. And I'm just like, well, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like that is a boy thing though. Like, did your boys ever like? So Oliver does this thing where he's eating at the table and he's like, I'm done. Like he gets like upset. He's like, I'm done. Like come get me. Like I'm like, all right. And then I take the food away and he's like, no, I'm not done. Give me the food
Yeah.
back. And I'm like,
Yep.
okay. And I give it back. He's like,
Because they're
I'm done.
distracted.
And then I take her. He's like, I don't want the food. And I'm like, dude, he's been doing that for like a month now. I'm like,
It's because he gets distracted.
It has to be
dude.
a
Yeah,
boy thing.
Jaden and Grayson will like get mad at you for carrying them, and then you put them down, and they get mad at you for putting them down, and you pick them up, and they get mad at you for picking them up. It's like I don't know what you want from me. Arwen will like cry, and then you pick her up, and she's like, "Thank you, that's what I wanted." And if you try to take her food away too soon, she's like, I'm not done. But then when she's done, she's like, I'm done with that. Take it away from me. I never want to see it again. I'm done with that now. So there is differences. I don't care what anybody says to me.
Oh, no, for sure. No,
there's massive differences.
Oh,
sorry, we're not politically correct or whatever it is.
We're just speaking truth. We're just real parents. We're real parents.
We're real parents, dude. Like my kids are flawed individuals. I know that there's that's another one. That's another movement out there. Like, no, kids are all good. They're all perfect. Like, have you had a child?
They're all
have you had a child? Because like I will say there's a few kids at the field that I think their parents did genuinely believe that their kids were just like flawless individuals, and now we're seeing, and now they're like getting into trouble. It's like, like it turns out, discipline goes a far way. Moving right along, let's jump into the sports. Why everybody joined. That's not why they joined though. They joined to talk to us. They joined to hang out with us because Big Z, we let them in. We let them into our.
We let them into our lives, and they love it. They love them some Fredo. They love them some Big Z.
Join us on YouTube. Get you a little sippy cup like I got right here. and
Don't
then
blame them for loving it. Yeah, right,
and then
right
just
here, man.
and then
Right here, we got some. We got some.
just hang out with us, man. That's all
Just
we're doing.
hang out. You know who did discipline someone? Kachuk. Kachuk disciplined those Bruins, and he was getting on them, getting on the ice, dude. Bam. And I was like, what is this? A UFC NHL game? What? This is awesome.
Ground and
I
pound,
love
baby. Ground and
Kachuk.
pound.
Let's
Ground and
go.
pound. I literally named that segment Big Z's Panthers bounce back. So Big Z, you know what, dude? Let's just start right there. Tell me what you saw from this series so far. Because I mean, Boston came out yay hot, and then the Panthers bounce back. How are you feeling?
I feel great. I think the 5-1 was a fluke. I just think that Kachuk just must have been sick or something. He wasn't ready. He just wasn't ready. And that's okay. Like, we're talking about flawed individuals here, that they exist. And Kachuk was obviously flawed on Monday night.
He just didn't Kachuk.
But he just had to Kachuk. He just had to do his thing. And they came back 6-1. That's why they're the number one seed, is because they're that good. And I think they won in 6. I think this is an easy series for them. I think that they weren't, pushed around last series. And then Boston came in, and Boston's just a good team, right? They always have. Boston's Bruins. They're just, that they're going to come in. They're going to give you a fight. And I don't think that the Panthers were really ready for that.
Right.
And so in game 2, they were finally prepared. Like, okay, we're going to heighten our senses a little bit, and we're going to give you our best. And that was their best. And I think that it's 6, dude. They're going to win 6. It's going to be great. And they're going to be on their way to Eastern Conference Finals, beating up your New York Rangers in 4, baby. Let's go.
Listen, dude. Also, you knew, like, any Panthers fan that thought that Boston was going to lay down. Think about last year. Like, you embarrassed them. They were the President's Trophy winners.
Right.
For those of you who don't watch the NHL, every year, the best team during the regular season is given an award called the President's Trophy. And Boston was that team. They had an incredible season. And they played a massive underdog in the Panthers, and the Panthers took them out of the playoffs. Didn't reverse sweep them, because I think they lost one in between, but they came back they came back from down. I think they were like 3-1 at one point.
Yeah,
they came all the way back, got the win. So you knew the Bruins were going to come out angry. But like you said, I thought it was huge that the Panthers made a big statement. They got blown out in game 1, and I thought it was huge they came out and blew them right back out.
Right.
Whether or not it was a fluke, I don't know. I think it will be tighter the rest of the season. I think we can expect closer games the rest of the way. I think it probably does go 6. I think that's probably a great estimation. I also have the Panthers winning this thing.
Yeah.
I think now they woke them up. I think one of the worst things you could do, a lot of Boston fans, and I heard even on TNT, the announcers were talking about like how great it was. Yeah, that Boston Bruins player came out, picked a fight with Kachuk, and I was like, no, this is not one of those guys you want to wake up. This is not one of those guys that you want to get upset, that you want to get even more into the series. Like, now he's going to be even more mad. If he already had
he's focused.
Fuel, right? Like, all you're doing is laser focusing him. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is to have like a great player like that, especially in that competitive R. Like, we remember, the Phillies weren't doing so hot against the Braves. They lost a game. One of the Brave shortstop at the time comes out and says, Harper, that's what happens, blah, 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 blah. Word gets out. Harper, what does he do his next step? Hits a massive home run and just mad dogs the dude all the way. Like, the big game competitors, you do not want to mess with them. You don't want to get them into the series even more. So I thought that was a complete mistake. I totally disagree with the analysts that were on TNT for that. I really do think Florida is going to win this thing. No doubt. The Rangers, I will say, I told everybody. You did. Like, Vegas even had this wrong. Vegas had Carolina winning this thing. So I don't understand. Like, I get it. Carolina has the better series. They are the better record. They are the home team. But the Rangers are a better team. If you watched any hockey, if you've watched the playoffs, like, the Rangers are complete. Again, they have no weaknesses. You're going to have to be better than them to beat them. They're not going to blow you out. They're not going to kill you per se. Like, they've had 2 overtime wins against Carolina. But that's exactly what I'm telling you, is they're just a complete team. So you can stay with it. They're not going to blow you out, right? They don't have the firepower to beat you 8-0, but you have to beat them the entirety of the game. You have to take it to them. You have to finish them off, because they are a complete team.
You have to play 60 minutes. It's like the Lakers 100%. And the Nuggets. Like, you can lead 70% of the series if you're the Lakers. Same thing, like, with Carolina. It's like, sure, you can lead most of the game, but if you can't finish,
Right.
Like you're done. Like that's
100%.
that's how great teams are made right there. Like same thing when it comes to the Oilers, dude. Like with Vancouver, I mean, I was watching last night and I'm like, oh, this game's done. It's 4-1. Like it was 2-1 within like 3 minutes. It was 4-1. Canucks are down. I was like, there's no way.
Right.
And Edmonton, they just I don't know if it was cockiness or the home crowd or their away crowd got to them, but they just left their foot off the gas pedal and Vancouver came back and what a great comeback, man. Like that's why I love hockey. And I've seen it so many times that this playoffs is it doesn't matter if there's like a 2 to 3 goal get deficit, even if 5 minutes left in the game, that team who's down is going to fight. And there's chances that they can come back.
Right.
You know, like if there's hope, like they will not, they're going to fight for that hope. Like the NBA, like if there's a team down 10 points with 5 minutes left, most of the time it's just like they give up. You can just tell like by their style of play. But in the NHL, dude, like those guys give it their all. And that's why I think the NHL playoffs are the best playoffs if you're comparing them to the NBA playoffs, because it's just you're getting everyone's full attention, the whole game, the full intensity. And it's just good sports. It's just good sports.
It's easily what I'll say about the NHL that separates it from a lot of different leagues.
Yeah.
Is that in the NBA, you can sort of go more aggressive. You can sort of decide like, okay, guys, like we're down by 20 points. So we need to really, that's why you see big turnarounds and like halves, because you can sort of like bring a different mentality, like on some level to the game. Like, hey guys, we need to start shooting threes. We need to change up what we're doing a little bit. But in hockey, you can literally tell your defenseman, hey, no one is backing off of that blue line, right? Which does lead to chances for the other team. Like when you're ahead, you sort of turtle up. The other team is going to get more aggressive. You know, even right now, we're filming this on a Thursday night. Dallas was up 4-0. Colorado's already bounced back. They're only down by 2 now, but it's because they're telling their defensemen, hey, there's no point. And if we lose 6-1, that's not different than losing 4-3. A loss is a loss in the playoffs. Exactly. So let's get out there. Exactly. Let's be aggressive. So you can change your entire style of play. Tell your defenders, hey, don't be smart. Don't get back right away. Like just trust your speed, trust that we're going to be able to get back, stick that blue line, try to hit him, try to slow him down, do whatever you can. You completely change at the pace. But yeah, that was huge, Big Z, to your point. Right. I mean, the fact that the Oilers, I mean, I think they were sort of a victim of the same thing the Panthers were. And this pains me to say because my team is obviously the Kings. But when they got up big on the Kings, it was over. As soon as they got 1 or 2 goals up, it never felt like the Kings were coming back. And so I think they were up 4-0 and they looked across and like, we won. We did it. We have Connor McDavid. You don't. We win. And Vancouver was like, no, we're not the Kings. We're going to battle back. We're going to fight. And I think the Kings hopefully are watching this and getting ready for next year because I'm a big fan of the Kings. I'll be a big fan next year. I'll always be a big fan of the Kings. That's my squad. I just hope that they're looking at this, seeing the fight, that other teams do possess. And then obviously, like I said, dude, like even look at this game. Dallas looked like they were running away with this thing. Right. And now the Colorado's making it a game. Like no team is going to just lay down. Like either they're going to fight, they're going to get physical, they're going to lay down some big hits. They're going to let you know, hey, we are still in this series, which is, I love the NHL playoffs, Big C. I love it.
Yeah. And we've been talking about, like, you've been posting on our socials, like how great the playoffs are. And we try to hone in on how amazing the NHL playoffs are. Like we're being an advocate for you, NHL. Like we're trying to grow that sport. It's just, it's very underappreciated. Hockey is very fun. It truly is. And if you actually think about it, it has to be one of the toughest sports out of like all the professional sports in the world, in my opinion. It's a really fun game. And the players, it's just a different mentality that they have. And that's why I like it. It's just fun and enjoyable for sure.
You're playing as many games as the NBA, but it's that much more physical. And we see how many guys like to sit out in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like that's really the biggest telltale. They play roughly the same amount of games.
Right.
And so when we're discussing, like how physical, how long, how hard is this? Like it is as many games in the NBA, but it's legal to hit and to fight and to do all these things. Obviously not legal to fight. You do get in the penalty box, but it does happen. So, we'll keep you posted on this game. Speaking of other playoffs, I mean, the NBA, I'm not gonna lie, Big Z, I've been pretty entertained. I've been pretty entertained, dude. Look, man, I'm a Laker fan, so I can't just switch. But man, if I was going to, them Timberwolves are fun to watch, dude. I love
Oh
me some
man,
Ant, bro. We were
I
talking.
love it.
We were
Oh,
talking before the podcast, and I told you, I was like, "Can I say this on the podcast?" And you gave me the green light. You're like, "No, it's totally fine." I think I get where you're coming from. Watching Ant is the first time. I know there's been other guys, and somebody out there is probably saying, "Well, what about Tatum? And what about this?"
nope.
Ant is the first guy that I've looked at and said, "Man, he clearly studied Michael and Kobe. Like
Yeah.
he clearly studied." And I know a lot of NBA players say, "Well, we studied Kobe and Michael too." But Ant, like there was literally a moment where the Nuggets, they were never like in that game. Let's be clear, but there was a moment where they were up by like 30, they were losing by 30, and then all of a sudden they were down by like 18 or whatever it was. And Ant was like, "Give me the ball." And he just did a turnaround jumper on two Nugget defenders. And they're looking like, what are we supposed to do to stop this guy? And it was like, dude, it's almost like just a surreal moment of just like, I thought of all the times that I watched Kobe just do something where the defenders sort of looked at their bench and looked at their coach like, what do you want us to do?
Yeah,
Like,
besides
what do you want?
like tackle him, like what else like legally like can I do in this game? I mean, there was a point last night or 2 nights ago when against the Nuggets, and he hit this a fadeaway three, and then he looked at the fans and he just like like backpedal back, and that is exactly what Michael Jordan did against the Suns in I think his fifth finals. And I was like, this dude, like it's not even cockiness, it's just confidence. Like because, and I know why I know he's not cocky is because he's getting a lot of comparisons to Michael Jordan right now. Like
yes,
100%. And he said, this is a quote from him. He said, "I want it to stop. He's the greatest of all time. I cannot be compared to him." And that was it. And it's like, that's why I know he's not cocky. Like, that's why I know he's just out there. He's a confident player, and he loves the game of basketball and he loves his team and he wants his team to win. Because there's many times where he'll give the ball up. He'll give it to Karl Anthony Towns. He'll give it to Gobert. He'll give it to Alexander. Like they were talking about McDaniels and he's like, dude, I don't care. Like that guy may average 5 points a night, but it's all the little things that he does that you guys don't respect. And it helps the hell out of us. Like we win because of him. Like that guy's a winner. And the fact that he can identify that and also shout that guy out, because no one knows who Jaden McDaniels is, but like Ant does. And Ant for sure wants him on his team. He wants him to be part of his supporting cast. Like that's his teammate. That's his guy. He knows that they need him to win. So that's why I love the guy. I know he's a great leader. And he's just a confident player, but you're right. He's not afraid of the moment. There's so many times I've seen big name players pass the ball because they're just too scared, right? And that's where the Kobe comparisons come in as well, because Kobe missed so many times. I remember the 1997 Western Conference semifinals against the Jazz. They're tied, and he shoots the last second shot. He airballs it, and they go to the huddle. They end up losing that game in overtime. But Shaq, after the game, he was like, no one else wanted to take that shot. And Kobe was like, I'll take it. Like, that's who Ant is. Like, he's like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to miss it, but I'm going to live with that.
And we're not saying, anybody listening to this podcast, we're not saying he's good as Kobe.
No,
we're saying
he has
that he has moments. Right. He has moments.
But yes, he has moments. Exactly. But he also has that mentality. You can have the same mentality as him. You can. And like, yeah, right? And like, or at least get to that point.
It's just refreshing when you have some of the elite players saying like, I am the GOAT. I am the man. And for Ant to say like, I've done, it's almost behind him saying like, I've accomplished nothing.
Yeah,
I've done nothing in this league.
This is the furthest. I'm in the second round of the playoffs. I'm up 2-0. Like this is nothing when you're talking about GOAT status.
Don't talk about the GOATs. I'm not one of them.
You can tell like his passion is basketball.
Yes.
And that's what basketball's been missing with their superstars, right? You had Michael, you had Kobe, you had Magic, Larry, Jerry West, Kareem, all those guys. They loved the game of basketball.
Yeah.
But you have Kevin Durant, who's just like, I'm just going to go to the team that is going to has the most superstars so I can win. You have LeBron, who just fires all the coaches. You have, there's those superstars that just, you can tell it's more about me and my ego. It's not, it's less so about the game, but this is about the game and my love for it. And then I'm going to show that through my play. And you can just tell he has a passion for it. He loves it. Yeah. I love the guy. Timberwolves, man. Like, I hope they sweep the Nuggets. I think it's hilarious that the Nuggets are going down in flames. Jamal Murray.
Oh,
the biggest pass The biggest pass in game two.
Crazy.
I'm sick. Of these guys, and you've complained about it multiple times, and I'm jumping on your wagon here, man. These guys just cannot stop complaining about the referees. They can't. And I just want to ask them, like, you try officiating the game in their shoes. You try doing what they do. It is so difficult. Anyways, in game two, he was so upset at the refs that he's on the bench and he throws a towel, his towel, at the ref. The ref doesn't know it because it's behind him and the ref is looking at the game.
Right.
And then the next play down, the Nuggets are on offense. He has one of those heating pads things that, they put on their shoulders. Some no call or something. He's upset. He literally throws it on the court and it just slides on the court. And Karl Anthony Towns on the Timberwolves is doing a hard stop pivot with his right foot. And he's an inch away from like getting on that and sliding on that thing. Like if he had done that, there's a potential that he could have torn something in his leg and the guy's injury prone.
It's not acceptable.
And you get and the NBA fined him. They didn't even suspend him.
You have to suspend him.
If a fan throws a beer on the court, if a fan throws their hair clip on the court, they're automatically ejected from the game, from the stadium. They cannot, and their season tickets or whatever are revoked forever. They cannot come back to the stadium. He didn't even get a
technical, right? He didn't even get a technical, correct?
No.
Like Steph Curry got a technical for throwing his mouth guard.
Right.
And he threw it into the stand, like he threw it away.
Exactly.
Like he just chucked it away. He didn't throw it in. He didn't try to impede anybody. I said it before the podcast when we were talking. Like Jokic, dude, he's the only person I've ever seen that gets away with extending his arms.
Right.
Every time he sets a screen, I'm like, can you not see this?
It's crazy.
Like,
I know, and like I love Jamal. I think the dude is a dog. Like he's a great player, but like, come on. And today, in their warm-ups for tomorrow's game, he dodged the question. He's like, no, I'm good. I take full responsibility, but no more questions. I'm like, come on, bro. Like, stop dodging the questions. Like, it's just such a bad look for you. Like,
right.
It really is. I cannot believe that they did that. Like Patrick Beverly threw a basketball at a fan and the fan caught it. He's suspended for 4 games going into the next season.
Yeah.
Like, and just because you want the Nuggets to be kind of relevant, you're going to protect him. Like, stop with this crap. Like the NBA is so inconsistent. Like it's so annoying. It's so player friendly. You can see it with all these coaches being fired when they shouldn't be fired. It's so dumb. And it's like, get off the refs back. Like, and let's go over to the Knicks and Pacers series. Rick Carlisle of the Pacers, he's just continuously complaining about the refs.
Yeah.
They sent 78 clips into the NBA today about like 78 missed calls or whatever about the refs. And the quote he had after game 2, after the losses, small market teams deserve an equal shot. They deserve a fair shot no matter where they're playing. No, bro, you gave up 67 points in the second half when Jalen Brunson was out and OG Anunoby was out. Their 2 best players, Julius Randle's already out. You cannot beat the Knicks with the team you have. That is why you lost. It wasn't because of the refs. You lost by 11 points. Like it's not because of the refs. Like I hate these guys. It's the easy thing to do. It's the easy thing to do. And that's the world we live in.
But it becomes a distraction. I mean, for me, the Nuggets lost game 2 somewhere in the second period.
Oh, they were down by 31.
Second quarter. Sorry,
31.
period hockey. Yeah, they were down by 31. And was it the name of their coach, like Rick Carlisle or something like that?
No, that's the Pacers.
The Pacers. Malone comes out and the coach comes out and screaming at the ref, which I thought he absolutely should have been teed up. They've teed up guys for way less. Comes on the court is screaming at the ref.
Yeah.
And then again, now the Pacers coach, Carlisle, he's like, oh, look at all these calls. Look at all these terrible calls. Again, at some point it becomes a distraction. It's going to become a hindrance. Your team is going to start believing that, like, well, the referees aren't on our side. So, and I get it. There are coaches who do the whole us against the world mentality, but at some point it can be a negative thing because now it's creating a distraction, right? It's taking away from the
real thing,
right? The real thing, which is you lost with Jalen Brunson on the bench for a couple court. Like, what? Like they lost their best player and you couldn't beat them. That's why you lost.
Right.
It's not because some mythical referee. We talked about it before. Again, the idea that the NBA, for him to come out and say that, oh, small market teams deserve a fair shot. I'm sorry. For the last few years, the league has been dominated by the Cavaliers, by the Warriors. Like, those are not historically large market teams.
Right.
Like,
right.
come on, man. You cannot. It doesn't make any sense to me. The Cavaliers have won. The Warriors have won. Yeah, if the NBA was concerned with large market teams, the Knicks would be in every year. The Lakers would be making runs every year. Like, they would have never lost the Nuggets. There are large market teams that are missing out every single year. Like, come on, man. Like, that's crazy.
It's insane. Like, if you look last 6 NBA champions, let me just look this up real quick. It's the Denver Nuggets, the Warriors, the Bucks, the Lakers in the bubble, the Raptors. Like, the Nuggets would have never won, right? The Raptors would have never won. The Bucks would have never won.
Never.
Like, you can't say that anymore. Like, the Spurs would have never been a dynasty if the NBA was so biased against small markets. Like, the Spurs, really? Like, no one watches the Spurs. Like, come on. Like, stop with this mentality. You're taking away, like you said, you're taking away from the actual story. It's like, you couldn't beat the Knicks. You gave up 67% shooting in the second half. Like, that's not on the refs. That's on your defense. Like, that's the crappy game plan. That's what that is.
You beat the Bucks without their best player, and you thought that you were just going to come handle the Knicks, who just had a really great series against the 76ers team, who's quite honestly better than the Pacers with a healthy Joel Embiid.
By far.
And so the idea that you're just going to come in here and roll, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, stop using excuses. Like, stop looking for excuses. But between these two teams, I don't know who I'm more annoyed by, either as head coach or the Nuggets, who genuinely just believe. Like, they totally have bought their own hype, right? Like, after they beat the Lakers, I think it was Jokic who came out and said, like, this is just winning is just a lifestyle for us. Like, dude, relax. Okay. You have a couple MVPs. You've won one championship.
Right.
That was the first one the Nuggets have ever won. Relax. Right. Okay. Yeah. It's almost like he bought his own hype, dude. They're going to be ousted. They're not winning. They're not winning it all this year. That's not happening. No. And quite honestly, at this point, I'm happy about it. I have to say, like, typically I'm not somebody who's like vindictive. I do hope that some of the small market teams do well, but after watching Jamal Murray and his behavior, it's like you try to be this big bad alpha when you're winning, when you're beating the Lakers, and now you're throwing crap onto the court when it's not going your way. Like, you're just a kindergartner throwing a tissy fit. Like, come on, son. Yeah, I'm not here for that. Jokic being all upset. Look at these refs. They're doing this, and that. And it's like, dude, you are throwing your hand. Somebody, if you're listening to this podcast, please go watch. Every time he sets a screen, he's doing this, and it just gets worse and worse and worse as they start losing. I'm not here for it, dude. Focus in. The Knicks are doing a great job. Obviously, the Celtics. I mean, look at the Cavs. Like, nobody gave them a shot in heck against the Celtics.
The Cavs are beating the Celtics. Like, come on.
They just balled. They shot great, and they just showed, hey, if we can shoot decently,
in Boston,
we can shoot decently, I don't know what their percentage was for the night, Big Z, but if we can shoot even remotely decently, the Celtics are going to struggle. And they proved it. They did it.
Well, that's the thing. They did it. You try to, you kind of lock them up on defense, and let the Celtics, that's what I've been saying since the playoffs started. The Celtics are a very finesse team. They do not like playing roughhouse basketball. They don't. I mean, look at the Cavs shot 54% from the field, 46% from the 3-point line, as compared to the Celtics shooting only 41% from the field, 22% from the line, or from the 3-point line, and they had more free throws. So if there's anyone talking about refs in this game, the Celtics had the benefit of the doubt. They had more free throws than the Cavs, and they just were not doing it. Like, you have Tatum scoring 25 and Brown scoring 19, but the rest of your guys, like Drew Holiday only getting 4 points, Al Horford only getting 11 points. Like, you had a good all around. Every single player for the Cavs were in double figures. All their starting players, and then you had one guy, Merrill, on their bench, 21 points. So like, they just had an all around good game tonight. And the Celtics were 37-4 at home this year. Like, that's a remarkable record.
Can I just tell you before we move off the NBA, what I love most about Ant, and this is just like, clearly we're obsessed with Ant here, and we make no apologies for it. No. I just love that a couple years ago, we were talking about, by the way, Dallas live, they just won 5-3, tied Colorado 1-1. I told you before the series started, it's going probably 7. I told everybody. Like, I know hockey, people. Keep listening to this podcast. If you want to be guided through playoffs, I've told everybody. I said this
Good
one's
show.
won 7. I said the Rangers are going to win. I said the Panthers and Boston's going to be good. I mean, I'm nailing hockey right now, people. But anyways, good job. Yeah, congrats, Dallas. Congrats. Keep it rolling. Make this a competitive series. Prove me right. Colorado, prove me right. Keep being competitive. Listen, a couple years ago, people were talking about Devin Booker. They were talking about Tatum. They were talking about all these different names, and Ant was not being mentioned. And here he is. He is clearly, to me, if they finish off this run, which I know he's got a lot of work to do, Towns has to stay healthy. He's got to stay out of foul trouble to help him out. But if they stay out of foul trouble, if they continue to play this brand of basketball, I mean, they just won. People don't realize they just won game 2 without the defensive player of the year. Right. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. If they keep this up, he is going to be the new face of the NBA, period. I mean, 100%. He is fantastic. I love it. And
I mean, think about it, bro. Like, think about it. Like, now in the second round, you don't have LeBron, you don't have Steph, you don't have Clay, you don't have Kevin Durant. Like, there's a new era of superstar. Like, those guys are yesterday's news. And it's good.
But you can't buy your own hype. You can't buy look at Jokic. You cannot. I love it. These guys who, even these newer guys, even the Bookers, even the Tatum, don't buy your own hype. Dude, I know everything comes back to coaching, but I was literally talking to some of my kids. You know, I was coaching this AAA team, and they're sort of scrappy. They're not the most talented team in the league. That's for darn sure. But they're scrappy. Right. But they've won a couple games against some good teams, and all of a sudden, you know, I started seeing some, you know, cockiness and stuff. And I told them, like, dude, don't buy your own hype, boys. That's the worst thing you can do. Keep your head down, work hard. Let's keep doing our drills. Let's keep listening to coach. Let's keep running plays. Let's keep getting on base. Let's keep being smart, because that's the only way we're going to get this thing done. It's the only way we're going to get this dub. I love it, dude. Any final thoughts on the NBA before we move on?
I just think, like, if there's an NBA team listening to, like, you know, like the Hornets or the Wizards, like, come and hire us. Like, we obviously know, like, we can identify a leader out of, like, you know, out of people, of 100 people in a room. Like, we can identify that one leader. Like, we can put him on the court. Like, we know what we're talking about. So hire us. Like, we got you. We got you, Wizards. Like, we'll bring you back to relevancy. Come on.
MLB, we're not for sale except for the Dodgers. All right. We just love the Dodgers too much. We can't go against them. So can't do it.
No, we can't.
Can't do it. Can't do it. By the way, the Dodgers, one of the best teams in the MLB, just swept the Braves. No big deal. On fire. But can they do it in the playoffs? You guys are going to, if you're here and you're like, oh, here they go, they're talking about the Dodgers. This is a great place to come hate on 2 Dodger fans. Like, how great is that going to be for you when they inevitably choke again? It's going to be super fun to you.
yeah.
Moving right along to the NFL. All right, here we go. Big Z, the Falcons made an interesting pick. I've made fun of them, even though I do like Penix. And the reason that I made fun of them was because I do believe in Penix. I want that to be very clear. I made fun of them because I genuinely believe that in this draft, and this is not a popular opinion. Right. I don't know why people argue, but I believe that Penix is the best pure pocket passer to come out of this draft.
Oh, 100%.
And so I believed that if one of these quarterbacks, if I had to choose one quarterback to learn a system and say, hey, go run this system and be good at it, that I would pick him. He would be my pick. Yep. Apparently the Falcons agreed. They had him ranked their number 2 quarterback.
It's insane.
And that's why they went to get him. Yeah. And then I'm talking to the boy, Jeff, and I'm cleaning his pool, I'm cleaning his pool. Pool man, those of you who don't know. I'm cleaning his pool, and he comes out and we're talking about it. And he goes, yeah, well, that Kirk Cousins is technically just a 2-year deal. And I said, what do you mean? So we look it up. Apparently, Big Z, he's guaranteed.
Educate me.
The deal was $180 million. Okay. Only $100 million guaranteed. Guess what, Big Z? $90 million of that is between 2024 and 2025.
Nice.
$10 million but at 2026. So technically, the way that contract is worked out, really, they're not paying him at all for 2027. And, dude, Penix only has to wait 2 years. I know that was a big knock. He's already 24. He's going to be 28. Right. Well, 26 is a lot better than 28 in football years. That sort of thing matters. And if they're only taking a $10 million hit for Kirk Cousins, and by the way, anybody listening to this and say, oh, poor Kirk Cousins, did you get $100 million guaranteed? Do not feel bad for Kirk Cousins, okay? Do not feel bad for him. All right?
Like, stop.
Come on, son.
Like nowadays, like, tell me if I'm crazy. Nowadays in the NFL, you have to have a competent backup. Like, you cannot just have you have to have a Gardner Minshew at worst.
Look at the Colts. Look at the Colts.
Yes. Come on. Like, everyone should be praising the Falcons for getting Michael Penix. Like, you can throw that guy into the game and he can win you a ball game with the weapons that they have.
Nick Foles.
Right.
Nick Foles.
Like, don't say the Falcons are stupid. The Falcons just signed a quarterback, $100 million guaranteed, who is coming off an Achilles injury, who is in his late 30s. They got one of the best quarterbacks available in the draft. Like, literally, what is wrong with these people? Like, I don't understand. Like, you have to, and Kirk Cousins is a great guy, a great quarterback to learn from, someone who's going to be great in the locker room and really help Penix in the QB room learn the ways of being an NFL quarterback. But you can throw him in. He can make an impact on the game. 100%. I don't understand. You and I are here saying it was a great pick. I love that they had him at number 2. They saw what we saw. He's just a great leader, a great player, great pocket passer. I loved it. I was saying it in the college football playoffs. The dude has one of the best balls I've ever seen out of any. I'm not saying I'm some QB scout or any, but like, you can just see the eye test. Like, the dude can fit it in between windows that no one else can. Like, there's no way that JJ McCarthy or that Drake May even is better than Penix. Like, that was such a good move by the Falcons. And the fact that you told me that contract, even better. Even so, after 2 years, he could be starting. Like, that's great. And Kirk Cousins, he's fine, guys.
He's fine.
Stop feeling sorry for him. Like, he's
not
fine.
A winner. I like Kirk Cousins. He's not a winner.
Yeah.
Look, Brock Purdy gets so much hate in this league. He's a winner.
Yeah.
You may not like him. You may not love him. You may hate his game. He may not be flashy, but he's a winner. He wins. Yeah, he does things to win.
Right.
That's it. I mean, that's all that matters. Patrick Mahomes.
He does things to win.
Kermit the Frog.
He chucks it. He checks it down. He checks it down. 5 yards there, 7
Tom
yards
Brady.
there. People hate on it. Tom Brady checked it down all the time. He made the smart play.
Getting roasted for all the slants he threw to no-name receivers.
Right. Yeah.
He's a winner.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT for a reason.
Kirk Cousins not a winner. He had Justin Jefferson. He's not a winner.
Don't feel bad. Okay. Like, he literally got a $50 million signing bonus.
You're not winning
for signing his name.
Falcons fans, I hate to be the one to tell you, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
You're just not. At some point, you could go 16-0, 17-0. And I'd sit here on this pod. I'm telling you right now, the Falcons could go 17-0. And I'm going to sit here on this podcast. I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose the Super Bowl. Because Kirk Cousins is not a winner. I like him. I think he's a great guy.
You're going to lose in the first round, the Niners. Like, come on, son.
You're not getting past the Niners.
Son.
You're certainly not getting past the Rams, who everybody's sleeping on. I'll tell you that right now.
No way.
Come on, son. There's another guy that I really don't understand, Big Z, and we got to talk about him. And it's going to come off as hate, but Big Z, I don't get it. I'm hearing rumors that he might be the highest paid quarterback, and I got to say, Big Z, I don't get it. Jordan Love.
Oh, my.
What have we seen from this guy to suggest that he's when I make a list of quarterbacks in the league, I can't see him any higher than number 10.
All right. Wow, bro. You're serious. That's insane. That's nuts, dude. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, I can't see him maybe 8, 9. Like, I don't know. Like, I was looking at that's a great.
I mean, well, you have Patrick Mahomes.
So I have Patty Mahomes. So here we go. So here's CBS QB Power Rankings that came out 2 days ago. Okay?
Here we go.
So we got Patty Mahomes, Kermit the Frog, number 1. You have my guy, and I think secretly your guy, Brock Purdy, at number 2.
I don't like how much I like him. I will say, as a Rams fan, I don't. But the problem is because I just don't understand the hate. I don't. He led the league in the major statistical categories last. Like, I don't get like, oh, well, I can hear somebody saying, well, he only threw touchdowns because of Christian McCaffrey. Okay, well, explain his QBR. Well, his QBR was only so good because of his great receivers. Okay, explain his lack of interceptions. Well, his lack of interceptions, like, okay, fine. Explain away one stat. But then explain his efficiency. Explain his QBR. Explain his lack of interception.
Oh, how he came back from 17 points down in the NFC Championship games.
Explain how he was scrambling.
Well, the Lions, they didn't take account for his.
I've never seen
whatever. Get out of here.
I've never seen goalposts move.
Yeah,
like I have.
Oh, he wore his hat backwards. Like, yeah, whatever. Fine.
God,
anyway,
keep going.
Yeah. Josh Allen, number 3. Joe Burrow 4, CJ Stroud 5. That's a little questionable, but he's up there. But I wouldn't put him ahead. Who's number 6, Lamar Jackson. I would flip flop that most likely.
Yeah, I would as well.
But still, like, give Lamar the respect. but also he can't win the playoffs. Jalen Hurts 7,
Yeah,
Dak
real
8.
quick for anybody hearing that, and it was like, well, how's Lamar not number two? After that playoff performance, he's not number two.
No,
He
no
forfeit
way.
like that.
Yeah,
He pooped in the playoffs. You can't poop
he
in the
did.
playoffs.
As always. As
Move on.
always, like he always does. Dak 8, Justin Herbert 9, and there's Jordan Love at number 10. And here it is. This is the first sentence in their reasoning. One of the most dazzling watches of late 2023. Love must prove he can rein in his inner Brett Favre as a gifted thrower, but 1 year into his gig as Green Bay's full-time starter, he sure looks to have the moxie of a longtime playmaker. His young weapons are still growing. But there's the key word. Dazzling watches of late 2023. That is why I agree with you wholeheartedly that you cannot give this guy the bank right now.
No.
He had an immaculate 6-game stretch, 100%. But let's not forget, Blake Bortles, his second year in the league or third year in the league, Blake Bortles had 35 touchdowns. He threw 35 touchdowns. He led the league in touchdowns with the Jaguars and made it to the AFC Championship and lost to the Patriots. When did he hear from Blake Bortles ever again? Never. Right. He was a backup with the Rams eventually. Like he has to prove it this year. He has to prove it this year.
And if you watch, if you're a Green Bay fan and you're sitting here and you're super mad at us and you haven't turned us off somehow, first of all, credit to you for not being that biased. You were able to get through the segment. But let me also just say, Matt LaFleur deserves so much of this credit when you see how many open receivers that he had. Right. How many guys were just blatantly wide open, even in the playoffs. Like the schemes that Matt LaFleur were drawing out, it was just amazing to watch. Credit to him. Again, Jordan Love, he's got to figure it out. Credit to him. He's got to figure it out. We'll see. We'll see if he can do it for a whole year. But right now, I don't want to hear highest paid. I don't want to hear highest paid. I don't want to hear any of that. I'm not here for that. So
no, it doesn't make it makes zero sense. Like you're going to pay him more than Patrick Mahomes, like Lamar Jackson, like
where's Matt Stafford on that list?
Like you said,
wait, where's Matt Stafford on the list? I have to ask.
Oh, that's a great. I think it was yeah, let's get it right here. Okay, he is. Wow, 16.
You cannot have Jordan Love over Matt Stafford. There's no way.
So you want to hear after Jordan Love? So you want to go till number 11?
Sure, go ahead.
Aaron Rodgers.
No.
Tua.
No, he's ahead of Jordan Love too. He's ahead of Jordan Love too.
This next one's gonna get you. This one's gonna get you, Matt. Jared Goff.
People on this, Mitchie's accused me of being a Jared Goff hater. I don't see how Jared Goff can have the year he just had and not be top 6. But he just shredded everyone.
I still think Matt Stafford healthy is better than Jared Goff. But Jared Goff should be at least
Matt
top
Stafford
10.
is top 5 for me, dude. Like he's giving his roses.
Trevor Lawrence, then Matthew Stafford.
It's trash. It's trash. CBS, you're trash. This is trash.
But we agree with the top 10.
That's the problem, though. They suckered me in. No, I don't. I don't agree with top 10. Matt Stafford's top 10. I'm mad that I didn't catch that the first go around.
Okay. Let's do this exercise. And for the people,
all right.
And for the people on YouTube, you can watch this. Okay.
Let me see.
So let me expand this. So who out of this top 10 do you move out? So obviously.
Okay, right now, based on what I just saw, okay, based on last year's performances, I want Matt Stafford in the playoffs over Lamar Jackson. That's just me personally. To me, Matt Stafford has won a Super Bowl with the Rams. He has shown he can do it in the playoffs. And before the Niners beat the Lions, the Rams were one PI, which, all the Saints fans are like, we got you back, right? I get it. It happens. Like, I'm not going to use that as an excuse. The Rams lost that game, but they gave the Lions a very good game. I'm taking Matt Stafford over Lamar Jackson. If we're just talking playoffs for this next year, like for 1 year, we're not talking longevity right now. We're just talking for this next year of NFL football.
Okay. That's not playoffs. So like full season. Full season is including playoffs. Full season, including playoffs.
Full season. I'm still taking Matt Stafford.
Okay. But you can't. Okay. But you're going to say you're going to kick out Lamar before Love?
No. Love's already gone. Love is already gone. Love is gone.
Okay. And then I put Stafford over Jalen and Dak and Justin Herbert.
Yes.
I kick out Love here. Yeah. Then you bring in Stafford. You put Stafford I would put Lamar, then Lamar, Matthew Stafford, then CJ Stroud. That's
I
what I would
would
do.
I would personally go Stafford, Lamar, and then CJ, but
But
I agree with you. I agree with you.
but it's right there. It's right there. But I agree. Like Stafford needs to be top 5 or 6 or something.
I'm going to be honest with you. I like Joe Cool. I like Joe Cool. I don't see how, like, we're going down rabbit holes right now, but I don't see how Bengals fans watch what their backup quarterback just did. No, just strictly numerically, like what he just did. And this is his first year starting, by the way. So for those people arguing, well, they still missed the playoffs. Look at what he did numerically.
Yeah.
There's got to be some piece of you that's like, is Joe that good? Or was our receiving core just really that good? But I mean, Joe Burrow did get them to a Super Bowl, so I give you that. Like, I don't want to take too much away from Joe Burrow. I just think there's got to be that little seed, that little inkling of like, whoa.
I just think
like
with Joe, it's like
rookie bald.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just found a dime in the rough. Like there's a lot of things. I think with Joe, it's just like his injuries, but
yeah.
But maybe because of his injuries, it showed.
Josh Allen's getting worse. There's no way that Josh Allen is the number 3 quarterback on the year. Maybe in fantasy football because he's got to just huck the ball down the field, but he's not going to have any weapons.
But we'll see. Like, but dude, like, I'll give him this ranking just because. Remember last year, and the Bills were just out of it, like in November, and Josh Allen willed that team into the playoffs. Back. Like Stephon Diggs was nowhere to be seen.
Gave it to the Cowboys.
He did not have any receiving core.
Yeah,
he didn't. He really didn't. Stephon Diggs was a no-show, and like Gabe Davis was a no-show. Like he was making Shakir like a name in fantasy football. I'll give Allen that credit at least. Like he should still at least be a top 5. Like, this stuff. I mean, even me, like Brock. Like I love Brock. I don't know if he should be number 2, but I know Brock should be top 5. 100%.
I think Brock is top 5, but I think top 5 is honestly interchangeable.
Yeah. Besides Pat.
It surprises me a little bit that Justin Herbert is so low, but I mean, I get
he's
it.
Also never won anything.
He hasn't accomplished anything in the playoffs, but neither has Dak. So,
right. But Jordan Love, like, really? Like, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like, Matthew
I
Stafford
take the next
Jared
few
Goff
guys over him. Tua, I take over him. Jared, I take over him. Aaron, I probably take over him.
A healthy Aaron,
a healthy Aaron, I take over him. Kirk Cousins, that's probably the first close one, but I can't believe that Stafford is behind Kirk Cousins. Stafford just won a Super Bowl like 2 years ago. Come on, man.
And he had a great year last year.
Fantastic year last year. He's the only reason. And the best part is, like, when we're talking about people willing their teams, Stafford is the only reason the Rams were even remotely relevant.
Right.
Look at my boy Bo Nix coming in at 30.
Wow, over Bryce Young.
Look at my boy Bo Nix.
Wow, Bryce Young. Poor Bryce Young.
Dude, we don't even know what Bryce Young is. I'm not going to sit here and say, we told you, CJ, we told you Stroud was better than Bryce Young. But like, also, dude, come on. Bryce had nothing last year. Give the man a chance. Give him a chance.
Look at this. Caleb Williams over Anthony Richardson. What disrespect to Anthony Richardson. And what disrespect to Jaden Daniels that you put Jacoby Brissett.
Derek Carr is not even going to be the starter for the Saints the entire year.
Oh my!
Mark my words. Spencer Rattler is taking that job like halfway through.
And Russell Wilson over Kyler Murray. What? Oh my! Okay, I don't know about this list anymore.
We're getting off of this list. You know what? Let's end it before we're gonna have to break. We're gonna have a whole other podcast breaking down how terrible his list is. Big Z, this has been fun. Say bye to the people, Big Z.
That was fun, guys. Sorry, we went off a little off script tonight. But that's what it's all about. Like, you never know what you're getting from us. Thanks for tuning in. NFL schedule is dropping next week, apparently. So that'll be fun. We can break that down if it drops for the time.
And our dynasty. Record. We are going to get our dynasty going soon. So hopefully we'll have
fantasy league. So
once we start that, we'll have like an episode with the breakdown of the draft as it like has been happening up till then. We can't really have like an episode dedicated because if you don't know anything about dynasty, like it's like hours and hours and hours. But like my friends are hitting me up, like we're ready to go.
Days.
So
it takes days. Yeah.
Like a week. So
yeah. But yeah, man. It's been fun. Love you guys. You have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, great week, whatever it is. Tell your friends. We are Brevity Sports. Tell everybody. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on social media. We've actually been posting. We're doing it for you. And I'm not going to say that I understand the special effects or that I'm good at it, but I do point a phone at myself and speak words. So
and you look
that's
good
what you can expect.
doing it. So
yeah, the light hits me right.
No bias.
7:30 a.m. So
boom.
There it is.